What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Procrasticast. Today we're going to be talking about what makes our favorite games and how we make that top list. Hey.
I'm Lazy Alex.
I'm Alpha Dude.
And this is our first episode of Procrasticast. We're finally doing it.
It's up.
This is us.
It's on the internet.
This is us.
If you're seeing this, it's on the internet. Or you stole our camera. One of the two.
I can't see a thing. I don't have my glasses. Anyway, okay. Where we? Okay.
So favorite games. So like, there's lists of like biggest, like most purchased games or like highest rated games.
Yeah.
Those don't mean much to an individual though, because like my favorite games aren't the internet's favorite games, or they're not your favorite games, or whatever. They're my favorite games.
Yeah, you know, like I have friends that their favorite game is Call of Duty because our Call of Duty, whatever the current Call of Duty game is, and it's always their favorite because they have friends that they play with, and there are factors that for each person that go into like determining whether this game is your favorite. What game do you have the most fun play? Is it fun? Is it something that takes you away from you come home from your 9 to 5, you're just I don't know. It's I should say you're just like a depressed person, but
I mean some people.
But I mean like something that helps you escape.
Something to like get sucked into for a couple hours or 2 or 3 minutes at a time, something to get away from something. I mean, that's usually like a big key in these things.
I mean, in a way, it's in a way, this is this topic is like why do you like games? Like what about like if you play video games and you like video games? What
are things that draw people to have a favorite game? Like there are people out there that have played games that can't answer that question. What's your favorite game?
Like if you talk to my mom, like her favorite game it's probably fucking Candy Crush.
Yeah, my mom's favorite game is going to be one of those like solve the mystery by finding the 10 objects that are different in this picture from the other.
But she's a gamer.
Yeah,
she's a gamer.
Like everyone's a game. Most everyone's a gamer at this point in time. Like,
I mean,
so many pieces of technology in our life that have a game of some kind on it. Like
whether it's solitaire or whatever, it's for us personally, we're going to talk about what is it for us personally. If you're watching this, we want to hear from you because we're interested in just kind of diving deeper into like what. Like why people even play games? Because a lot of these games now are turning into like a form, or these people are considering them forms of art.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
right?
And a lot of them are like there are things out there that are very artistic.
Yeah, so. And to some people, games are just they're games, or they're childish, or whatever. But I mean, for and you can apply this to movies. And we can talk about this all day. Like, we can talk about this for anything, right? But, for games, a lot of it has to do with your personality.
Exactly.
Right? So we'll start there. Like, your personality, so for me, what makes, like, a favorite game for me? Like, I can tell you, like, for movies, like, if a movie makes me laugh, and it doesn't even have to be consistently, like, if I laugh at a movie and it makes me feel good... that I like that. I like the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just what's fun, or what engages you. Like for you, like in a game, like what is it about a game that? So
I mean, for me, like I need a good story. Like I need something that's going to draw me in and keep me going. Like my favorite, like the two of my top games that I can think of right off the top of my head are JRPGs that just have really long story, very well written, that just go for like really long games too usually help in this case. But they are.
So you generally like long games?
Yeah, I'm generally like if I can put 100 hours into a game, I'm gonna like it a lot.
Yeah, and I know personally you like to platinum games. Like you like to 100% complete
I put
games.
100 hours into Skyrim to get the platinum. I'm like I want to play those games.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not just you. There's Skyrim in particular. Like we have, how many friends do we have that had just fucking put like so many hours into that game. Like I have a friend that I have a friend that I used to work with that he considered himself one of the better Civilization players. And if you go on Steam right now, he's put in over 1,000 hours on Civilization 4. And that's absolutely insane. But
That's
I mean,
nuts.
the reason that for him, the reason he plays it is because the game is so dynamic. It challenges it challenges him like mentally.
Yeah. There's a lot of thoughts that go into it. Like you have to think about what you're going to do before you do it. And in that game specifically, and a lot of games like it, every time you play, it's different.
Yeah, yeah.
The procedurally generated games like that just there's a lot of randomness that's involved in the game in terms of like how we see it.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that. Like, I'm a huge fan of Civilization as well.
Yeah.
And they're cool because like I can go in one day, play for 10 hours, and it feels like I just sat down.
Yeah.
I just lose myself to that game.
Yeah.
And a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, like for me, like I was saying, like story is a huge key. Like Suikoden 1 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
2 and 3 are also in like my top 10.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, like story and you know how challenging the game is, you know, makes it a good game. Because I mean, you can have like a great story game. So you have these Telltale games that are, you know, basically story, but they're not hard, right? Like they're based on your decisions, but. You know, and is it just story for you? Like, do you like challenge? Does the game have to be challenging?
It depends. Like, there are games that I like to have a challenge to, but I like the idea of like a game like Ni no Kuni. Like, there are things that are challenging, but I can go and
Ni no Kuni
get my character stronger.
That's like the Pokemon of that's like the Miyazaki Pokemon game, right? Yeah, okay. That was a good game. Yeah, I did play
Ni
that.
no Kuni was great, and I put many hours into it, and it was one of those games where I can...
that?
Not yet.
No.
That game's hard.
You were here first.
I will, one day. Especially if it comes out on PS4, definitely.
Oh yeah, if it does.
But games like that, where I can go and like, I can hit a challenge... And I can try and beat that challenge. But there are some things in that game where you have to go, I have to go and level up my character or whatever and be stronger. Yeah. And you have to like kind of earn it. Like you have to be strong enough to defeat your enemy. Yeah. And I like that. And if you die, you die and you have to go back.
So so do you like so those long games, a lot of the time they're long because you have to grind.
Yeah. I like that. Like I like the idea of taking my, like when I play Pokemon, like I try and get my characters to like top level.
Yeah, my
Pokemon.
Like I said, we can talk about this for days, and I think we'll probably revisit this subject and we'll break it down more structurally, probably because we're just kind of like freestyling right now. But yeah, I mean, personally for me, I like games that are really like they have to catch me from like the beginning, right? So like I mean, traditionally, yes, I like really long, like grindy games. But something has to draw me in to make me want to grind, right? Because personally, I mean, I don't know, I don't think anybody really likes the actual grind, unless like maybe the battle system is really good. But that goes into it too. Like when I was playing Final Fantasy 13, for the first half of that game when it was like really linear, I really liked the battle system, and then when it got open, I don't know, like I lost interest for some reason. I mean, I personally I liked it being linear. And that was like a lot of people didn't like that like at the beginning, but I mean it's really like up to you, like it's like how you bat. I mean I don't know.
I mean a lot of people seem to have liked
I like
it
being
because
guided.
There were 2 sequels to it, so yeah.
Well, I might just be Square.
No one knows what they're doing. But yeah, like the idea, like if you can get drawn into it, like sometimes like some games are too open.
Yeah.
Like
where you don't know what to do, you know where to go, you know how to. But I mean, that's why it's so dynamic, like for so many different people, and that's why a lot of the times, like you can't really trust a lot of these reviews because for somebody that is a critic or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but something that could be like a perfect game for one person, or this critic, or it almost, when a lot of the times when I watch those reviews or when I read these reviews about these games, it almost like a bias. So like a bias gets put on me to where like I go into playing that game like thinking it's gonna be like, okay, it's really good, and I could be playing the game when I'm really not having fun, but like I'm doing this like mental gymnastic in my head, like it's yeah, this game is good, this game is good, this game is good.
Yeah.
And the games that I like I really like are the ones that like they may not be the best games, but just the games that make me just feel something, the games that I can easily come back to. And that's really the main thing for me personally, are games that I can come back to, that isn't like, it doesn't take a lot of effort for me to, to play. A lot of my favorite games are multiplayer games. Like I like to play World of Warcraft, and I like to play because of the community. You know what I mean? Like there's a grind there, and it does get difficult, especially if you're like raiding or doing like, you have a bunch of people, gearing up and learning mechanics to a boss, for a common goal. But it's not like, a lot of the times that's not fun. For a lot of people that's not fun. But
and I mean, even within a game like World of Warcraft, there are many different types of people who play that game for completely different reasons.
Yeah, and that's why I think, and that's why I think what makes that game so great, because it's so, there's so many different things that you can do. It's like you can play, like, especially now, because they've made it really simple to jump into and to do a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, but does that mean, like, what makes a good game? It's subjective, right?
And so one thing I want to bring up is you mentioned like reviews.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I think is bad for determining whether or not you're going to think a game is going into it is something you're going to like, is like the review score.
Yeah.
Like the score itself doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because what is a 10 to me could be
not,
your least favorite game you've played.
I completely agree.
If I go and I'm like, oh, Uncharted 3's a 10 because X publisher said so.
Yeah.
I can go into it and I go, this is the worst game, and I wasted $60 on this. But the thing that people don't do is they don't read the actual review. Yeah, yeah. And see why it's this person's favorite game. Yeah. Because the reasons they think it's their favorite game.
Yeah, and that's where, I'm not against reviews. Like, I will, because you're buying these games. You're spending $60 to get this game. So you want to know somewhat. You want to know about it. You want to know... whether or not it would appeal to you. So, and that's where I do agree. That's where I do like reviews, or that's where I do like, because it does tell you about the game when you previously knew nothing about it, unless you were like a big fan and you were going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, and so I like reviews too. I just don't like that number. Yeah, because that number is like, people don't see it as what it is. Like a lot of places will give something a 10, but that game's not perfect. Yeah, there are problems with those games, and there are things that, I mean, generally the 10s don't have bugs or anything like that, but there are like gameplay issues sometimes, like just things that people don't like about specific things, but there are so many other things that make up for it that it's good to them. Yeah. Like, and that's one thing, like, if you're reading around the internet, seeing lots of things before you make your decisions, then that's, I mean, you're getting kind of a broad opinion on something, but like that actual number though can be damaging to, like, if you are just looking at that.
Yeah, and a lot of people do, and a lot of people do. And before I got before I matured a little bit, and you gotta have that, and that's one thing, like, for some people, you realize you got to be able to ask questions, you got to be able to make your own decisions. And that's something that I challenge any self-respecting person is, make your own decisions, ask questions, and you hear that from a lot of people, right? But there were times where I would see like this game got a 10, and I would buy the game based on that. I would play it once for like 15 minutes, not like it, never touch it again. But I bought it, spent money on it because of the score. Yeah, and I realized, like, if you look, I just have so many fucking games right now that are like,
I have many games that I've bought because of review scores, back before I really kind of thought about it. Yeah, and that are still in the plastic wrap. Yeah,
because I mean, if you're a collector, that's a different thing. But
yeah,
we could talk about that. That's another topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But so like, there are things that I'm like, oh yeah, it's got a 10, has to be good. Yeah. 2 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this isn't for me.
But and that's where I think like for a lot of people, like they really trick themselves into saying, and they'll, you know, like a lot of I'm guilty of this, where I'll say the game got a really good score, it's got a 10, and I'll say like, oh, this game's amazing, and I haven't really even played it. Like I've done that before. Not so much of it. If I don't like a game, I'll just straight up say I don't like it. But you know, so for me, again, we'll go back to like, because this is about us,
topic.
right?
Yeah.
So for me personally, something that, you know, grabs me instantly that I can easily go back to. I like a lot of casual games. Like I hate to be like the, you know, filthy casual, but I do like to play like, for a lot of games, I like games that I can easily jump into. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot that goes into psychology of you know, you liking a game, because a lot of it has to do with outside factors too. So like I have a long commute in the morning to go to work. Mm-hmm. I don't want to play a game that where you really have to like dive in and you know what I mean, like where you get really engaged, because I don't want to stay up too late, or I don't want it to keep me up because I'm thinking about the story or whatever. I have that problem, but. And that's sadly, like, that's why a lot of games I don't play, because I don't play for very long, because I just don't have I don't have the time. And that's, you know, for a lot of, and for me personally, I want a game that I can quickly jump into and play, and that's where I think, like, you know, this mobile game market is so huge right now, and that's why, like, you know, Sega recently, they're no longer making console games, they're making only mobile games, and you know, like, a lot of people are sad about that, but that's probably the smart move for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of things are going. Like,
I mean, what do I know? But it's still
yeah, I mean, for me, like, when we go back to what games, like, why are games important to me, or like why are games like my favorites? Like, the big thing for me is something that, like, I can put myself into the game. Yeah. Like, relatable characters, that type of thing. Yeah. Not necessarily, like, relatable, like, stories, because, like, when you get into, like, what's going on, because most of my favorite games are fantasy-based or whatever. Yeah, like, high magic and whatnot. I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, so I'm a big roleplay fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that too. I mean, like, my favorite genre of any game is probably role playing games, and that's just because I can put myself into the shoes of that character, right? Yeah, and exactly. Then you do feel a sense of accomplishment when you. I mean, again, this is just for us, but you do feel the sense of accomplishment whenever you level up, get a piece of gear, because you feel like you're getting a piece of gear, you're leveling up.
And those games are great for people like me. Yeah, like I am a completionist. Yes. And so games that are like I can spend 150 hours and get everything is awesome. Yeah. But there are other games out there like the Lego games. Yeah. I've played a bunch of the Lego games, and I'll beat them, get everything in 20 hours. Yeah. And it's still really enjoyable, but not to the extent of my 100-hour Skyrim playthrough. Yeah, yeah. So, like, a big thing is, like, jumping in, like, for me, if I gotta boil it down, jumping into the characters. Yeah. Good story. Yeah. Like, art is not that important to me. Like,
it's a big for me. Like, it's big. Well, that's just because I grew up art background. I drew. That's that's where we're different, right?
Yeah. Like
I'll score a game higher because it looks like stunning. Yeah. Over a game that isn't quite stunning, that might have like a really robust like engine or just like a really robust like fighting system or whatever, right? Yeah.
Like even like story is more important to me than gameplay. Yeah. I love the Walking Dead games because and like the Telltale games because like the story is what's important. The gameplay, anyone can do it, which is also great because you get more people into it. But it's for people that like the story, not for people that are like crazy, like people that have to play Call of Duty at 60 frames per second. Otherwise, like they're just like they can't get into it because like the actual quality of the game is degrading their experience. And like I play like a game like Call of Duty and it could be on a CRT and I wouldn't notice the differences if it's on a 65-inch like LED display. Like I just don't see the difference.
And I think like another thing and I think a lot of people can align with this, is like for part of what makes a game like somebody's favorite is if they can be good at it or if they're good at it.
Yes.
So like me personally, what draws me if I cannot get a game like quickly, if I don't pick it up quickly, and that's where I say like if I need to be able to jump into a game. If I can't pick it up quickly and like know I can pick this up and be good at it, because I know a lot of this stuff takes time, but I mean, like I said, I don't have a lot of time. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, we're making time right now because we're doing this is something that we wanted to do, but like I want to know that I can be good at this game because I there's always that. I mean, at least for me, there's always this like itch in the back of my head where I want to be the best, right? And for a lot of people, it's like that. I know for a lot of people that I know that play Call of Duty, they're good at it, right? You don't keep playing it if you fucking suck, right?
Yeah, and I do the same thing. Like if I'm not good at a game, there's a good chance I'm gonna put the controller down, not look back.
Yeah.
But like there are games that I will play to be better than somebody else. Not a game that I picked up, but somebody was like, "Oh, I got this high score in this game," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna beat you."
Yeah. And I think that's that's where Twitch is so big now, and that's why people are watching these games. And for me personally, I like watching it because like it's somewhere I watch these people play these games. They're so good, and unless they're funny, then I'll watch them because they're amazing. They're really good. I love Smash Brothers. It is one of my favorite games, just because it's so easy to play. It's so easy to jump into. Like I can play it and easily put the controller down if I needed to, and I just come back to it. Right. I like the music in the game. I like the graphics. But I don't like always come back to it, and I haven't actually played it in a long time. And a lot of the reason is because I know I watch these people on Twitch. And I watched these tournaments for Smash Brothers, and now that it's so now that you can put your gameplay up online, it's like I'd rather watch it because I know I can't be that good. And
I mean, the thing nowadays about gaming is
you got to put a lot of time
for most people, and especially for people like us who played lots of games.
Yeah,
we play a good chunk of what comes out.
Yeah,
and for us, we're never going to be the best at a game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it you have to put so much time in. Like, have you heard of the 10,000 hour rule?
Mm-mm.
So there's just this is another topic that we can go into, but 10,000 hour rule, you put to be truly like to master anything, whether playing violin, piano. There's this like thought out there, or this you put in 10,000 hours. That's the time that you need. That's the time it takes to truly master
something.
Yeah,
something.
There's a book. There's a whole book regarding that. It's what's it called? It's called Outliers. We can talk about that. We can talk about that another time. But I think our time. I think we're wrapping up.
I think.
Like I said, we'll continue
this
this topic. We'll break it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let us know what
makes your favorite games.
What are your favorite games? Why do you play games? We want to know. We're Turbo Loot. We just started this thing up.
Yeah.
We make a blog, and then we can post people's and then I think it'll be cool. Like we kind of have this like collage of like people, of like why people play games, and then we'll revisit the topic. We can talk about it again.
Let us know also like what are some ideas for topics you guys want us to talk about.
Let us know.
Let us know if you like something we're doing or something that we're fucking up on. Let us know.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yeah, feel free to comments below us. Tweet us at AlexH.
At AlphaDude21.
Or just at Turbo Loot.
At Turbo
Games.
Turbo Loot Games. Turbo Loot Games, yeah.
Hashtag Procrasticast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know.
And until next time.
Keep it real.
2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Procrasticast. This week, we're going to be talking one thing. Today. All right.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? This is the first ever episode of the Procrasticast. Today, We're gonna be talking about what makes our favorite games for us. What did we say? I already forgot.
Do one of these. Like, welcome to the first episode of Procrasticast. And then I'll just fucking beam it in there.
Can I Jedi mind trick the logo in?
Oh yeah, we can do something like that every time too.
It's like, and then it explodes onto the scene.
Hell yeah, okay,
Right.
do that. Whatever you want to do. Ready, 3, 2, 1, action.
What's up, guys? It's time for the first ever episode of the Procrasticast. This week... Alright. I see why people do multiple takes of things. Just once we start